got it. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we want to welcome you all to the Hello LLC. If you don't know, Hello stands for Helping Entrepreneurs Leverage Leading Edge Optimizations. And today, we're going to have an amazing conversation. Today, we're going to be talking about embracing Fintech, business evolution in the digital age. If you don't know what Fintech is, you're about to find out what Fintech is. Fintech is financial technology. And Elon Musk just talked about this today. The dollar is lowering, should I say, and it's not going to be here forever. But this is where we have been sharing with you guys for the longest that you are going to have to learn more about this crypto market, more about this fintech, more about these other solutions for money that we have not been accustomed to, that we're about to help you all be familiar, that fintech is nothing more than combining, right, technology with our smartphones. And this is where you as a business, you as an entrepreneur, you as a consumer should know and be ahead, because this is where the largest transformation of money is going to be shifting from the baby boomers down on, and just shift in technology. As we talked about yesterday, your crusty, dusty Zoom going away and utilizing the metaverse, and really being able to understand that the metaverse is the world. This fintech is the new currency, which then is going to be able to utilize the NFTs and the tokens and things of that sort as the financial sector that we use. But we have our amazing Tara that is going to be able to share more on this. She is a genius at this. This is her wheelhouse. Other than my wheelhouse, when it comes to the AI and metaverse, I'm all over that. When it comes to fintech and crypto and all this other financial stuff, Tara is well versed in that. And so we're going to break this down. And please believe this is not financial advice, any shape, form, or fashion. This is just us showcasing to you, right, of some things that you should be aware of. And if you guys have not joined us in our Hello Plaza in Metaverse, that you can join from your cell phone, you can join from your laptop, you can join from your VR headsets, and even that iPod, right? Apple just came out and released its iPad today. iPad today. And so iPad today.
iPod.
Yeah, iPad. And so this is where we continue to share these things with you. So press 4 buttons. Hit that big link up at the top, hellollc.io. If you are in Clubhouse, or if you're in LinkedIn, hit my face or Tara's face on Fanbase. We're going to put that link up here. I'll put it in the chat as well for you guys. But go to the hellollc.io, and it definitely will be able to get you this information. But without further ado, before we continue, you guys got to come and join us tomorrow for Miss Marilyn Clark's grand opening to her actual storefront in the metaverse, that you guys can come and join us tomorrow at 6:30 as well and be a part of that. So without further ado, Love, talk to us. What you got?
Well, hello, beautiful people. It's so good to be here with you all. Happy Wednesday, wherever you are. Today, we're going to talk just about, money. How many like to talk about money? Some of us do, some of us don't. But we're going to talk about how you will be able to help you within your business, be able to understand the financial technology that is happening at our right underneath our noses right now. But we're so distracted by all the other things within the news and things that they keep us distracted, so you don't know what's happening behind the scenes. But as David said, we are in the biggest wealth transformation within our history ever, that you'll ever see within your lifetime. It is because the baby boomers is the largest population, and they do carry all the wealth at the moment. And as they start moving on into a next lifetime, they will be leaving behind assets that will then filter down to other generations. And this is, something that you could stop and say, well, I don't have any, my parents or grandparents or family members that are baby boomers aren't handing any assets down. They don't have generational wealth. This doesn't apply to me. It does apply to you, and it's because right now there's also great opportunity if you are aware of what is going on and understand what's going on. The opportunity that lies in front of you is not only to work smarter and faster, but it is also able to maybe get in on some of those things which were the Googles and the Apples and all of that before they became the Googles and Apples, and their stocks are worth a lot of money these days. So this is just understanding the lay of the land. And the lay of the land allows us then to make the best judgment for ourselves. And so today's conversation is going to be around the financial technology, which is what Fintech stands for. It's financial technology. It's two words merged together. And that will allow us to then discover, who, what, where, when, and why. But I know today, Mr. Jones wanted to do this in a little bit of a different style, which is awesome. I'm excited, where he's actually going to ask me a series of questions. That way we can break this down and share this, because a lot of times when I am sharing or we are sharing anything within the Web3 little attribute here, we sometimes might miss the easy peasy or the plain as day questions or information because we know it and we take it for granted. So I'm excited today to be able to have a little Q&A session.
Yeah.
So Mr. Jones, we want to, first of all, also, we welcome everybody in. Thank you so much for being here. If you would like to, you're more than welcome to come up on stage, ask questions. If there's a chat channel that you can drop us a line, you can ask us questions through a chat channel. It does not matter. We just appreciate your participation of just being here. You don't have to actually participate and share. We'd love to. And if you do, please, when you do share what you're up to, who you are, what you are, and how the community can support you, especially if you have a business. We always love for businesses to share what they're up to, because we honestly believe that as a community, we get to grow as a whole, because when the tide rises, all boats rise. So with that said, come on up, don't be shy, and we'll get this Q&A going.
Yeah. And so, first questions first, because sometimes I think we miss the basics of, what things are. What is Fintech when we talk about Fintech? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, well, Fintech is simple. It's two words put together. Fin, F-I-N, is for financial, and tech, T-E-C-K, is for the technology. So it's financial technology. That is what Fintech really is. It's a lot of times, I liken it to the fact that Fintech is simply taking, how many of you all remember your old piggy banks? I had one. It was a glass jar. It was shaped as a piggy bank, as a pig. It had a little slot at the top where you could get quarters and $50 in there, I think, as well. And you could see through it. So you could see how much money you had in it. And the only way to get money out of that was to break it. There was no plug at the bottom of it.
You didn't have no plug?
It had no plug.
So
but
that was
us kids, because we are smart like that, kids,
Yeah.
they're creative. We would just put a butter knife in there and you could pull the money out. You kind of do the whole
You just shake it.
You just shake it and jiggle. Shake and jiggle. Yeah. Shake the bacon and jiggle the bacon and you got some money out of it. But yes, so Fintech is simply the evolution of your piggy bank that we all just laughed about, where it evolves into now what you guys are utilizing as cash apps and things like that. I don't mean just the application Cash App. I mean other applications, that you're utilizing, Venmo, PayPal, any of them that you can send money to, your brother or your sister, wherever they are. That is what the beautiful thing is. So does that answer the question about what Fintech is, my love?
Yes. And just like you were talking about for the piggy bank, I think it's when we talk about Fintech is nothing more than making this piggy bank smarter. It's adding on some additional cool gadgets to this piggy bank that we haven't had in the past. And so that's one of the things. And then even more importantly, when we talk about, Fintech, we need to understand that 60% of adults globally use already one Fintech service. And that's one of the things that we have to be able to understand, that we've already been utilizing the service. When you go to, the store and they're allowing you to be able to use,
Tap and go.
tap and go. That is fintech. That's
Yes.
financial technology. When you're able to use your watch or use your phone, you're able to use
Google
technology,
Pays,
right?
Apple
Google
Pay.
Apple Pay.
Uh-huh.
That is already fintech, and now it's just being brought to the forefront. So, how can, because we know, we talk about businesses.
Yep.
How can businesses, utilize this fintech? What does it mean for businesses?
Well, on the business side, we're going to talk about two sides of it, the kind of the personal side and the business side. And the business side, it's going to allow, first of all, the whole reason financial technology is even here is because it increases speed. So we have to understand that it increases the speed between transactions. We all know that we could have a transaction that we do on Saturday, and that's not going to actually post to our bank account until Tuesday, probably sometime. It'll be pending. You'll see it pending on there, but because of the business days of, the banking hours, and due to the 3 to 5 days of transaction where they will actually post and settle, that takes time, obviously 3 to 5 days. So when we're also sending money around the world, it also increases the time. We have to have a MoneyGram or something to be able to send money back and forth. And so how it'll be able to help businesses is it'll help businesses by being able to take payment. So for now, if you have services that you're currently offering for, let's say $500, and you can click a link and you have either PayPal or Stripe or another provider on the backside that's collecting that payment. Now you'll be able to collect payment within a financial, technology way, whether it can be through the traditional USD, US dollar, or you can also branch out and start accepting cryptocurrencies as a payment. So for instance, right now, the number one cryptocurrency that everybody knows about is Bitcoin. So if you wanted to say, hey, I want to, it'd be X amount of Bitcoin, you would figure out what the equivalent of $500 is. Now you have to understand that is constantly changing and moving. So, that's a necessity where you would have to be updating it on a regular basis. But because of that, you could be able to trade your services through whatever denomination that you would choose. It's just like setting Mexican pesos versus United States dollars, right? That's all it is. So it's taking payments. You'll be able to manage invoices in a more efficient electronic way. So that way you'll have automation. We kind of like what we talked about yesterday within our automation. It'll allow you to be able to manage, those transactions seamlessly and be able to give that customer touch an experience that we were talking about yesterday. And then, just the loan, and that comes from the financial side of people, like an actual financial institution being able to loan out that money. It'll just be within a more efficient manner. So those are some small things. The biggest one really is being able to take payments and the faster time associated with collecting your money. So it will be instant when we're fully moved over into the Web3 financial umbrella. It will be instantaneously. It will no longer have a posting or a pending charge on your bank account for 2 to 3 days or 3 to 5 days, however long it takes in your account or with your banking institution. It'll now be within 5 seconds. That's instant.
So you mean when I was in college, my bank account would always be on the negative side, and I would blame it on the bank. I'd be like, Dad, man, it didn't show that. I don't know why I got that $35 charge, this, that, and other. And so we wouldn't have those problems where I would instantly know what was in my bank account.
You would instantly. So like right now, some of the older, let me break it down to this, because most of the people bank with the large five: Bank of America, JP Morgan, Citibank, Compass. They bank with those large entities.
Mm-hmm.
And they show you real time right now on the front end. It's kind of like putting lipstick on a pig.
Yeah.
So they're showing you real time now. So you have a pending charge and it's already taken out of your available balance, right?
Yeah.
And so right now, if you went up to the ATM and you had a $50 pending charge and you had $500 in your account, it would say that you only have available $450 because of that $50.
Not this bank.
But that's the thing. more smaller banks like regional banks and city banks there and union credit unions, they have a slower processing and settlement system, and so that is when you do get into trouble when they say, well, you have $500 but you had $450 pending in transactions behind the scenes and you didn't see that because they didn't show that to you, and they said, oh, you're available, you can take $500.
You're good. Go ahead.
And that's exactly what happened, and that still happens in the smaller entities. And that's why financial technology and fintech, as we go ahead and make this merge over, because it's happening, it's already happening behind the scenes, and it's just they got to get the whole system set up to make that merge over. Gotcha. So does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that absolutely makes sense. And so, especially when we talk about being able to get our money for a business, for us, Stripe, PayPal, all these different accounts, they take a little piece of the pie and we get dinged for that. And over the course of the year and years, they take a nice percentage of our money. And so this fintech is really going to allow us, to be able to get rid of it.
Do you know why they're taking your money in that?
Well, talk to us.
Because they're taking on all the risk. So the reason why Stripe and PayPal get their, 1%, 3%, 5%, whatever their fees are, is because they're giving your funds to you available immediately. So they're making it instant right now on their end. They're holding all the risk for the settlements, not to make, 3 to 5 day settlements on the backside. So they're now offering instantaneous services, which we all love, which is why we use it, because man, I can get the same day you pay me, the same day that money's in my bank account, the same day I can spend it. Right. And then before, that's not how it was. They're taking all the risks. So they have to do a risk assessment to see how much, and profitability. They're a business. They have to be profitable. So that's the two reasons why they fee us.
So how will fintech offer, or how will fintech help businesses?
We just talked about that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you did.
Yeah. We talked about how it'll make it the payments faster, and it'll be faster through the settlement period, and then they reduce the risk.
True. Okay. So, what would be some examples of fintech?
So examples of fintech right now are just kind of some of the ones that we talked about just a second ago, which is like a Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Stripe, Square, any of these that you are able to literally send money instantaneously over to someone. So those are all financial technology apps that are utilizing that we are utilizing today that fall underneath the umbrella of fintech.
So, this is always going to be the one question, because this is what we talked about yesterday, right? Well, how safe is it? I don't know about that, because I know my mom, my father, and I'm more than certain that some of y'all on here, somebody I'm not putting my credit card on there. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. How safe is it when we talk about, this fintech?
Well, safety and security is always the number one concern, especially when it's with our money, especially when we trade our time for money and we're like, hey, we got to be, I want to know where my money is. It took, first of all, let's back up here. It took people a great deal of trust to even trust putting their money in the banks.
Yeah. A lot of people just keep it under the bed.
Under the mattress, in the, coffee can, wherever it was. They had their hidey holes in the house and separated it so that way their house was their bank. So that's why, robberies were such a big thing back then. I mean, robberies are still a big thing today because of other assets, but it was because every household was their own bank. So we took a time for the banks to build trust, and they had to build the trust through showing that they could keep their money and that anytime you wanted your money, you had instant access to it. Now, let's answer the question. How secure is fintech? It is 100 million times more secure. And the reason I say that is because we are now implementing technology. When we have technology at our hands and we're utilizing technology will allow us to be able to, have encryptions. We'll have secure passwords. We can now use, facial or eye recognition, things like that. We get to be able to utilize, even a fingerprint whatever it is, however deep people want to take the level of security, right? If you're not comfortable with having your eye scanned or your face scanned or your finger scanned because of your, confidentiality there, you can then set up encryption through passwords and all that.
Mhm.
So it is the same kind of technology that the banks are utilizing is how safe it is now. The other side of that is everything done within financial technology is going to start landing on the blockchain. What does that mean? That simply means that, you've heard of cryptocurrency, you've heard of Bitcoin. The blockchain is what carries each of those transactions. So there's a record of each transaction. So what will happen in this entire arena of when we make this shift is that every banking institution will then there will be a transaction on the public ledger, but it won't identify you. It won't identify like the purchases and all that. It'll just be able to identify where the money went. So there is a ledger and a history and a chain of custody. That way people understand that the more transparency, the safer people feel. I will share this and then we can move on to the next question. Right now, if any of you had like say, $20,000, $10,000 in the bank, even $5,000 in the bank, and you go to the bank and you want to withdraw all of that or some of that,
What you doing?
Anything really over $1,000, you are going to have a hard time withdrawing right now at the major banks. The reason being is because what they sold you on before when banking institutions came into play was that we will keep your money here and it'll sit in the vault. But what has happened since then over many, many, many years and lots of legislation that's been passed is that what they call I just went blank of the word, but it's where they're able to lend your money out to make money off of it. So they're able to lend your money out or invest your money and they make money off of it while they hold a reserve that everybody pulls from. So really our money right now in our bank accounts is just a series of numbers and that they can, with one click of the button move. And so we are already within financial technology is the point of reason why I'm sharing that is we're using it every day. We just don't know we are because the changes have been so minimal. Like we shared yesterday, they got to make minimal changes so it doesn't freak people out, especially when you're dealing with people's money.
Yeah. And so with that being said, guys, we want to thank you all for joining us today in the Hello Plaza. If you guys do not know, this conversation is live and in color in the metaverse that you can join from your cell phone, your laptop, your iPad, or your VR headsets by literally clicking on the button at the top of the room or in our actual profile where you can see that the future is already here, especially as we talked about robotics yesterday. AI is a thing of the past. We're moving to robotics, and which is why we're having this conversation about fintech and about all these other things that are taking place. So if you have any questions, please feel free to come on up in our social audio rooms. We are live in LinkedIn. We're live on Clubhouse. We're live on Fanbase. We're also on Twitter and known as Spaces, right? We're on our YouTube channel. We're on Instagram. And so thank you all for joining us. We really want you to press 4 buttons and come and visit us into the metaverse. And so, love, if anybody has any questions or anything they want to share, definitely come on stage and ask that or put it in the chat. Those of you that are on LinkedIn, we would greatly appreciate the love and support. Hit the bottom button where it says react. Go and like this post. Go and share this out with your friends. Sharing is caring. Don't have stingy energy. At least like it for being in the room and utilizing your time in here, especially as we talk about fintech and learning about some of these new applications that are taking place. And so, love, my next question to you would be, if nobody has anything in the chat, and I'll go and check, people are going to ask this question: does it cost money to join fintech?
Well, that's a great, question. And first of all, I would say yes and no. You're already utilizing fintech because your banks are they are making the switch behind the scenes. So that is where they're making more upgrades to the financial technology that they have, which, fintech is just a movement of what is happening now within the financial industry, coupled with Web3. So does it cost anything? Some do cost. For instance, like PayPal or Stripe, if you're utilizing that from a business function, they absolutely do keep a set of fees based on the transactions that they process for you. So there are fees associated in some applications, more on personal levels, more on business levels that are the fees that you see. When you're on the personal level of things, you don't have as many fees. Like for instance, Cash App, you're not really feed by being able to send money to and from, point A to point B. So on the personal level, you don't see as much fees. It's more on the business level that they're going to make sure. And again, we have to be transparent for people to understand the reason why these companies charge fees. Like none of us like it, but it is because they are taking all the risk because of the settlement days, and they're making those funds available to you instantaneously. And then on the other side of that is they are a company and they do have to pay, support and technology upgrades and things like that. They have overhead to cover. So that was a great question. It is a double-edged sword on that one. It just depends on which application you're using.
So it's kind of like picking the best lemonade stand.
I guess. Yeah, absolutely. I guess they have free lemonade stands out there. I never came across them when I was a little kid, but there you go. I love it. What's next?
So the next question would be is, can anybody just use Fintech? Or before I go, Butterfly, do you have a question that you want to ask over here on Fanbase about Fintech, or put in any 2 cents that you know about Fintech?
I'm sorry, and I had to step out for a second. Well, no, thank you for kind of explaining that about financial technology and what it means, what it can mean for your business. I think there's just so many expanded conversations. I'm always kind of thinking in terms of just kind of application and I guess I'm sure there was something that I guess I do have a good question, because one of my clients is a nonprofit. What do you think are the best opportunities that a nonprofit can have in their fundraising strategies when it comes to like financial technology? So one thing that I do know that being able, like there's some reason why it makes sense for someone to donate, like crypto as opposed to cash, or just how we're going to use blockchain technology in general. I mean, I have so many questions, like, why does it make sense in the world of transactions, such as in a real estate transaction? Why does it make sense to use blockchain technology for those kinds of things? And I don't know if I'm being clear, but feel free to take any one of those 2 questions and just, go with it.
Well, those are great questions, first of all. So thank you so much, Ms. Butterfly, for jumping up here and asking that, because application is, it's great to understand where we are and what it does, but then it's like, okay, now how do I apply it? I want to utilize it. So there's the application side, there's the reason why side, and then there's the industry, why it will be able to help certain industries. So the application side of it for a business is, most of us are already utilizing Fintech in our businesses now. If you're utilizing PayPal, Stripe, Square, any of those payment processing companies. So they are known as financial tech, Fintech companies. That would be an example of it. So when we sign up to utilize these accounts, that is the application of, like for instance, on your, if you're utilizing a business in a box, or if you're utilizing a traditional website, you're collecting payments somewhere, and that the company that you're utilizing wants you to either attach your PayPal account, your Stripe account, or your Square account. I've seen a couple other ones, but those are the main 3. And so the application is being wired into the backside already. Now, where the Web3 application comes from, it, where the blockchain side and all of that starts to cycle in, is simply comes from the application of when Square, Stripe, PayPal start implementing the ability to accept cryptocurrencies off the blockchain. That's not the only way, because there are companies out there right now. Like, for instance, you could go out to our Business in a Box. You could go out to purchase service. You know, if you find a service that you like to go to purchase it, you could either go the traditional route, or you could pay within the blockchain route, which is through Bitcoin, Ethereum, and there's a couple other ways. Now, that is, you know, a fintech company itself that is now only allowing payments to be accepted through a blockchain instead of a traditional USD, which is a US dollar, or you know, any other currency that you're choosing to accept. Now, when the application happens, it's happening. If you want to say you want to accept a blockchain right now, you can do it by going out to, you know, well, first of all, I'll just say this. You can go out to our Pivot membership, and we have a whole list of resources, or you can go out to, you know, these search engines, and they can guide you in the right way too. You know, it's half a dozen, six of another. The point being is that you can apply that in your own structure right now, or just simply utilize Stripe, PayPal, or Square within your payments, receiving your payments. And as they start to accept blockchain, then that's when you can implement that at that point. It depends on what, you know, where you want, you know, if you want to split up your system. It's super easy either way, but a lot of people don't want to do the extra effort. They're like, I'll just wait till the big three get it within their financial tech portfolio, and then I'll do it. Now, let me preface this. We're not going to see that until the United States government has decided upon regulations, right? You can, now, let me say this all with another preface. You can currently exchange Bitcoin on other cryptocurrency exchanges. You can currently get in on an ETF or EFT within Grayscale and BlackRock and some of these large investment companies. So we're on the cusp of regulations, but if that scares you and that's something that you're not wanting to be a part of because you want, you know, there's business owners out there that feel that way, they don't understand it. And so because there's no regulations around it, cool. Wait till Stripe and all them offer it. It'll be within the next, I will tell you, 12 to 24 months. We're going to see regulations come up very quickly, but right now we're in election year. And so because of election year, they're really not doing a whole lot of regulations on the backside because administration will change. So, you know, again, this is all heavily, you know, intertwined. Now, when you talked about the industries for like a, within the real estate or within a nonprofit or any for-profit company, just depending on what industry you are in, it really comes down to what the goal is. So if we talk about real estate, why would it behoove us to utilize blockchain or fintech within that arena? Well, David and I actually sold our house in 2022, and you know, it was as everybody who goes through buying or selling a house, it's always a process. And there's always a lot of steps to the process, and funding being one of them. Well, I had just read an article last week that's talking about the top 4 clearinghouses, real estate clearinghouses in the United States are in trouble because they do not have the funding to cover the practices and operations that they run. And so this is why it's so important for us to understand the backside of what goes on for us to make sure we mitigate the issues on the front end. So Web3 in general will help revolutionize real estate in a whole. It not only will we mitigate the process, I hate to say, you know, real estate agents are going to have to pivot and understand this whole Web3 because they are going to lose their footing in that market of being able to do this, because really AI, Web3, Fintech will all take over what a current real estate agent does. And that is why they're going to have to retool.
And in all reality, if you be honest right now, a real estate agent doesn't have to do what they did in the past.
Correct.
In the past, they had to go out and find these clients, and they had to go out and know these customers that were looking for houses, and other real estate agents that knew other people as well. Where now, right now, if we all want to go buy a house, you literally go on to house.com or wherever your local, what was ours that we use? HAR, that we used in Houston, and everybody has one. I think HAR is the main one for everybody. You go and look at these houses, and then all you do is click on the house, and then the real estate agent pops up that shows you the house. And a lot of these homes already have it to where they have an actual video recording of what the house looks like. So the real estate agent doesn't have to take them to the actual house. Here in Mexico, we just had the lady that's selling one of the houses that we're staying at. She came and did a video recording of a house showing. And just imagine for a realtor that they could be able to have the homes that they are showcasing in a video form, that they can have their metaverse 3D center set up to where, hey, I got this house for sale. I got this house for sale. Go into my metaverse world. And now you're able to see all of these homes, just like the apartments and everything of that sort. And so this gets me hot because there's no reason in the world we should have paid our real estate agent, $24,000 of our money, of our earned money, for her to just put it up on the website and people to come look at it. And those days are gone, just like the car dealerships, right? There's no longer any more needs for any car salesman, because a lot of people are personally buying their cars online. So why would a business want to invest in that, especially as we move forward and utilizing technology?
Absolutely. And in addition to that, outside of what is going to replace, kind of the technology side of the replacement of tasks that are done, the financial side and the security side and the chain of custody for the documentation, get that spit out here, right now is going to change, because it will be to where everything will be tokenized within our future very soon. I mean, they're working on tokenization right now. Okay, what's tokenization, Tara? So you have to understand the house that you're buying or selling will become tokenized. It will be that is an asset. That house, that property, it is an asset. And now that asset is going to be moved over and live on the blockchain, which blockchain is a part of the financial technology umbrella. That is, partly of where we're moving to where we will have instantaneous transactions. And so what will happen is that house will be tokenized with a serial number. It'll have all of the, the GPS coordinates to it. It'll have the survey, when a survey is done, the land survey, that will be tied to it. All of this will be digital. And this digital, you pull up this digital ID of this house, and currently David Jones and Tara Bush own this house, and they're selling it to XYZ person. Well, at that point, as soon as the funding is completed, which that's where we're talking about, is the funding aspect of the financial portion here, it comes down to the simple side of that will be instant. So when group A or, team A is, selling it to team B or, person B, that transaction no longer is going to have to go through the clearing houses, which I just shared with you guys, that are in financial trouble. And there is a conversation about them having to possibly be bailed, a bailout with them to make sure, what is their function? Well, they make sure that party A has the funds that is paying party B, and all those funds are actually legit, and they will be that they're available, and they will be moved over into party B's possession. That's the word I'm looking for. Goodness. And that way, moving forward, they verify that funding. So that is where technology will come in, and it'll be instant. And because it all lives on a blockchain and it is visible, and we already know it's available because of the technology tied to it, it'll be like transfer the house, and you put in your payment information, and as you transfer ownership of that security, that that model number, that's that serial number is the number of the word I was looking for, that will transfer ownership documents that are needed, as well as money. It'll be all tied in, and then it'll be traceable through the blockchain, and that will become instant. Now, part of that question in there is, where does blockchain and cryptocurrency play a part in that? Well, that's where we will be utilizing, once regulations come down the line, we will be utilizing, probably, there will be a set of rails, financial rails, that everything is, set up, a system that is set up on the backside, where money is sent from person A to person B instantaneously, because of the blockchain and how that is set up. Right now, we're back to understanding our current settlement days are 3 to 5 days, which is why we have real estate clearinghouses, because they need to make sure the funds are there, and there's no tricky business that all of a sudden you buy $1 million house, you say you got $1 million in funding, and then you get the house and it's like, I don't know what happened to the funding. Not like David said, I don't know where that $35 came from to his bank account back in the day. So there's a whole lot of information packed into the questions you asked, but hopefully that really helps kind of narrow it down and break it out.
Did that help you out, Miss Butterfly? I know that was long.
Yes, it did. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so we want to welcome you all into the Hello LLC, all the way from our LinkedIn. We see we got Miss Lisa. I see we got V. We got Kenneth. We got I don't want to butcher Sheena in here. We got Miss Margaret. Annie is in here. Peter and Plantain. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey guys, I know Miss Lisa has a room at 4:00 today, so make sure after we get finished here, you go over to Miss Lisa's room. I believe it's today or it's tomorrow. Either way, follow Miss Lisa. Everybody in here pretty much has a room, and you guys make sure you connect with one another. Hit the person's face to the left, to the right of you, because remember, we are all one conversation away from changing our lives, and then also remembering how far up the mountain we've came. So don't be stingy. Have that old crusty dusty Zoom call, or come join the Hello LLC and let's have our conversation in the metaverse and really be able to collaborate together. Because I was talking to one of our clients earlier, and she's like, David, there's so many people that are on social media, and I have these rooms and nobody comes and supports. And they say they're going to come and support, and they don't support. And I'm like, look, you're preaching to the choir. There's so many times that people say they want to collaborate, they say they want to support, but they don't show up and they don't support what it means most, but they're asking you to come and support them. And we have to remember, it's a two-way street. And especially when we talk about building our brand, building our business, building who we are, we have to be able to give more than we take. And that means you have to like. That means you have to comment. That means you have to be interested in what other people are doing, because I can assure you, what somebody else is doing, you might be having a conversation with somebody else that might need exactly what that person needs, and you can fill that gap. And this is where we share with people that we have to be able to collaborate, and we have to be able to build each other up, because look, it's hard out here, right? Especially as we make this transition and this pivot. A lot of people don't know where they're going with their business, because they aren't sure where they're at in their business. And so this is where we help you guys be able to show you, teach you, or do it for you, especially joining our community, learning from other people that are up on stage or down there in the garden. And definitely make sure you guys go and check out Mr. K's in the building up here. Long time no see. Chef Andy is in the building as well. Renee is in the building. Diana's in the building. The So is in the building. I see we got Dylan in the building over here on the other side. And guys, look, we just don't talk about it. We are about it. We are on live on all of our platforms. Most importantly, hit 4 buttons, just like you downloaded LinkedIn, just like you downloaded Clubhouse, just like you downloaded, Fan Base and all these other apps. Go and click in our Biz in a Box up at the top. That's our website, right? Better than your website or your landing page. I can assure you of that. Let's upgrade, and you'll be able to see a big old button that says Hello Plaza, and it literally will take you in to go download another app, and you will see exactly what we're talking about. And as we shared yesterday, we can share about this until we're blue in the face, but until you press the button and you jump yourself into the metaverse, you're going to be able to say, holy shit, what is this? You mean I can no longer have my Zoom calls? You mean I can no longer have my old webinars or my master classes on Zoom? You mean I can do my book launch in this 3D immersive world? You mean like for Chef Andy, I can do a whole entire cooking class and have my whole entire members come in here and join me for my cooking class and it being a 3D immersive world? Yes. You mean I no longer have to get my hair or my nails or my facial makeup in order to be on Zoom? Yes. You being able to create your avatar, jump into metaverse, creates a completely different experience. And let's face it, you all are looking for new experiences. Ladies, I know you got to be tired of shopping on Amazon on that flat screen and then hoping that that extra medium or the extra small is going to fit you when you get it and you're not going back up to, UPS delivering it back. And this is where metaverse, like we talked about yesterday, will be able to take over all of that, especially with these AI tools and things of that sort when we talk about fintech, because things are moving at the speed of light. We think it, we can create it. And our money has definitely been fell behind as we talk about these systems. And so come on up here, ask any questions, put it in the chat. If you have anything you want to ask us, Miss Grace, welcome in the room. And so with that being said, Mr. K, I saw you put your hand up, or Chef Andy, you guys have anything you want to add on to this topic or conversation? Let's go.
Download and update Spatial. And saying hello.
Yeah,
I love it.
We love it, brother. Mr. K said he was uploading Spatial, so we'll see you in there. Chef Andy, you had anything you want to add? Chef Andy's in listening mode. But love,
He's cooking.
he's cooking. No, know what? No, Chef Andy, you're not allowed to talk.
He always makes us hungry.
So my next question to you, love, would be, because everybody's accustomed to these banks. Everybody's, has now got comfortable with it. Will fintech replace banks?
No. Short, easy answer is no. The reason being is because fintech is it's like, let me say this. Well, you have a lemonade stand, and at your lemonade stand, you sell lemonade. And so it'd be like, are you going to get rid of the lemonade? Well, no, I'm a lemonade stand. You can't get rid of the lemonade. And so my point being is that fintech is it's the management of your money. And so that's what banks help you do. The reason why it's different that we're talking about this is because of the Web3. As we move from Web 2 to Web 3, as we talked about yesterday, and now that we talked
Mr.
about
K's in metaverse with us.
I love it. Thanks, Mr. K. It's good to see you in here. So when we make that transition, it's going to be the simple fact that us as the owners of businesses, us as a personal, as personal individuals, we will have more ownership over our finances, and we will not have to relate to the simple side of being dependent on the banks. So essentially what I'm saying is banks won't go away, but you will have the opportunity to become your own bank. And what does that mean? Well, that means, as for anybody who's an investor today in this day and age, you have assets, whether they're through stock market, whether it's artwork, whether it's property, whether it's minerals, whether it is physical money, whether you have crypto, digital assets is what we like to call them. Whatever asset you have, that's your portfolio. That portfolio will be an online portfolio in the future, like we just talked about, your real estate. That will be a digital asset that will have a serial code to it, a serial ID. So you will become your own bank because of the assets you own. It'll allow at that point where you'll have the same security and encryption capabilities to be able to own and secure your assets to where you no longer have to use the bank. So the only threat to the banking system is when people become their own bank and they no longer need to use those banks, right? So banking It's not so much you're going to lose banking because there's still the ability they're going to have the US dollar and moving that around and whatnot. So that's, party A to party B payment, from person to person, peer to peer, institution to institution. You're still going to have that, but they're not going to be holding your assets anymore. For instance, the county assessor is no longer going to hold your deed to your house anymore because that deed will be on the blockchain that will be tied to that serial number that's tied to your property, and bada bing, bada boom.
Love it, love it, love it. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. And so, with that being said, how would somebody choose the right fintech service, even though they're probably already doing it right now? And even before we even talk, I asked that question because you sparked something. I just remembered. I wrote it down. So we have our grand opening tomorrow with Miss Merlin Clark with Mac Leadership Solutions in our Hello Plaza. And this morning she called me. She said, David. She said, I don't have anything to sell in Metaverse right now, so I don't know about this grand opening. I said, Miss Merlin, you have our biz in a box. Everything that is on your biz in a box, people are going to be able to see it in your Metaverse. And this is where I want you to understand that people can join in from their cell phone or their laptop or their iPad, and there's going to be a button in your storefront that says discover more. And they can hit that button and it's going to take them straight to your biz in a box. So just like right now, people can book an appointment with you through your biz in a box. People can get your free chapter. People can buy your book. People can get your membership. They're going to be able to do that exact same thing in the metaverse. You were just creating a completely different experience from your crusty, dusty, old, flat 2D, website, right, that you were using, to now having them in the metaverse. And so this is where she was like, oh, I didn't even much know that. I was like, yes.
Because we assume that we have to have digital assets or something like that. And we don't realize that they've made that gap so close right now to where you can experience Web3, but by utilizing the systems of Web2. But those are what's changing on the backside right now. How many of you have ever been in systems or control within, a company? I used to be within systems. And so you don't just introduce a new system and
Surprise!
And cut off the other system. There is an introductory period. There is a phase out period as you move from one system to the next system. So absolutely. So your question was, what was that, love? It was
my question was how does somebody choose a fintech service, although they might already be using a fintech service?
Well, 9 times out of 10, if you're a business or you're a brand, or whether you're even 1099 contracting, if you're utilizing PayPal, Stripe, or Square, one of the big 3 like that, you are utilizing fintech already. Now, guess what? If you're personal and you're already sending, Cash App to your kids that are in college, or, the kids that are at lunchtime, or, your wife or your husband or whatever, your mom, brother, sister, dog, whoever, it is within that there, you're utilizing Cash App, you're utilizing Venmo, whatever it is, to get that money to someone instantly from your account to their account. That is where you're already utilizing. Now, how would you choose one? Well, right now the safest bet is to utilize companies that have some stature within the industry. So again, I wish I was being paid by Stripe or PayPal or Square today, because I've name dropped them a billion times. But if you're utilizing any of those platforms, there's a lot of legalities and risk things that they have to take on and be able to mitigate, so that way it makes it safe for you, makes it safe for them. And so right now, while we're making the transition, it's always great to use a trusted source that you were utilizing in Web 2. So one of those big 3. We're utilizing a cryptocurrency payment acceptance that I was able to vet out, and it was simply through users reviews, because they've only been around for the past 2 years, because again, cryptocurrency is such a new thing. So again, it is based on the level of comfort that you have within the current platforms you're utilizing, because 9.9 of us out of 10 of us are already utilizing fintech applications and resources that are extremely helpful. So I hope that answers the question within how do you choose one. Again, I will also add this. It depends on what you need it for. So if you are a business like ourselves, and we are accepting payments that have, terms and conditions and all these other things that apply to it, it is best to make sure, and earnings that have to be reported, through taxation and whatnot. It is always great to make sure that you're utilizing a service that can give you that information, whether it's reports and all that. So again, big fan of Stripe and PayPal. We use both of those. We don't utilize Square. It's only because we don't need a third payment processor. We have two, so that's good. That's good enough in our book. We'll pay fees to those people, and sorry, Square, you just miss out on that one. So what you got next, Mr. Jones?
Well, before we go next, Mr. K, Chef Andy, Tracy, Butterfly, you guys have any other questions or anything you want to add on?
Oh, you know me, I could go on for days. Right now, I've got a prospectus out to a couple of people to garner funding as a hedge alongside a school that I've been hired as research analyst for the heads of all the departments to help them think outside of the box. And so what I'm doing is I'm putting together this live has turned to living 360 degrees. And it looks like I'm getting close to getting some funding, as well as being part of this $1 billion private school system. So what I have been talking to some people about is a completely virtual storefront, but it's also going to be a brick and mortar attached to this $1 billion school system that I've been put onto. We're waiting for funding to clear out of Panama right now. So yeah, it looks like you guys would be able to put together like a storefront in Web3 and have things like products and such that you can click on and read labels and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, indeedy, sir. That indeed. And you came into our Hello Plaza. If you could share with people, how easy was it for you to jump in there?
That was just a few clicks. I mean, I had downloaded it previously, but it asked me for an update, which is pretty much the same as downloading. And and it just kind of brought me in once I clicked through.
Boom.
I think it was like three or four clicks, like you said.
Boom, just like that.
Yeah.
And so, yes, Mr. K, we can build out, and we already have a whole entire mall right now where businesses are already showcasing their business, where people can come into their storefront, see their products, see their services, see everything that they do, and they can click on it and go straight to go and purchase it or book an appointment. Whatever you have a URL to, it can go in your storefront for people to be able to get that information from the traditional two-way. And this is what we share with people consistently, is that this metaverse that we keep hearing from, especially what we hear is some people that haven't even much went into metaverse, haven't put on these Oculus glasses, have only went in there to play games, will sit there and tell people, oh no, the metaverse isn't the future, and they have no clue what they're talking about. When we went over a whole list of yesterday of companies that are already there, that are in the metaverse. A prime example, Nike has increased their sales by $121 million because not only are they able to sell their physical products, but because these youngsters are in Roblox, Fortnite, and they're going to shop, they're also selling digital products. So this is something that we're working on right now, where when you do come into the Hello Plaza, you can buy a t-shirt, of a Hello Plaza. And you can literally walk around our metaverse and have that Hello Plaza shirt on. We then are now going to start making it to where you can make your own products for your own brand, and you can take that in the metaverse. And so this is where we have to understand, if you're looking for a way to increase your brand recognition, you're looking for a way to increase your experience, you're looking for a way to increase your revenue, look no further. It's Web3. And as I shared yesterday, with people, there's going to be two types of businesses: those that utilize AI and the metaverse, and the other is not going to be here anymore. And just like with the Netflix gentleman, I'm going to post this because I found this and I wanted to read it out to you guys, is that, I don't know if you guys remember this, but, Netflix could have gotten bought out by Blockbuster. And one of the executives at Blockbuster said, hey, we need to buy these guys out. And this guy laughed. And so I'm about to read it if I can find it. Show you guys.
It comes down to the relevancy, and as you said, Mr. K, it's, the accessibility. And not only will you guys have, a hardscape, a brick and mortar, but in addition, you're going to have the, the digital side of that, the Web3 side, which is now where you're able to reach a global audience. And that way, with just in the sharing of what you guys are doing and up to, you don't need to be where you are to come see you and to get that information. And so that's the beauty of it. Go ahead, Mr. Jones.
Yeah, in September of 2020, 2020. No, 2000. I'm getting it wrong. 2000. Blockbuster could have bought Netflix, but the Blockbuster CEO thought it was a joke and he laughed them off. The former Blockbuster executive was quoted saying, we had the option to buy Netflix for $50 million and we didn't do it. They were losing money. They came around a few times. Netflix is now worth over $200 billion, and Blockbuster ended up filing for bankruptcy. And we share that story because this is something that we talk about with technical debt and learning these new concepts and learning these new strategies. Please don't be laughing at us talking about, oh, these guys are cute and adorable, talking about metaverse, and then you not making the transition, and then sooner before you know, oopsies, you're in the world of trouble. And that right there in itself is, something we want to avoid you guys to have to not come across as much as possible. And so my next question, if nobody else has a question, right? Can fintech save me money?
Well, it already is saving you money. The biggest thing about, money is the fact of I need it now. Mm-hmm. Like I don't need it in 3 days. I don't need it in 5 days. It's the I need it now. And so because of that, let's just say, you need to receive this set of funding in because you have overhead expenses in your business to pay for. And those expenses don't stop coming out of your of your account. And if you receive funding, but it's not going to post to your account for 5 business days. Well,
you can use
between day 1 and day 5,
yeah,
you're getting, you're already in the hole because they're already debiting your account and you don't have the credit available. So the transaction speed alone is going to save people so much, fees. Because when they're waiting on, as my, parents used to always say, the rob Peter to pay Paul kind of, aspect, as any middle-class family, it was sometimes you had to stretch the checkbook. And so you were waiting for the credits to land in order to cover the debits that were coming through. And so now with the instantaneous speed that's coming down the pipeline, it'll be able to help that. It also, you have to understand, fintech is not only, I've talked about, it being these big, 3 square Stripe, PayPal. Those are examples of fintech. But it is also these applications that allow you to set a budget. It allows you to do budgeting. It allows you to be able to track your expenses. It allows you to track your expenses for taxations. That is all financial technology because it's an application on your phone. That's technology. It's in the financial field. That's finance. So fintech, that's where we get. Again, you have to remember, fintech is the simple is only the management of you handling, moving, or allocating your money. It is not money itself, and I think that's very important for people to understand. It is applications that help you manage. So
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So the next question is going to be, is that people are going to get off here and be like, oh, I learned about crypto. I learned about it so much. What would be the difference when we talk about crypto and then fintech? And I think you kind of just touched on a little bit, but I want to bring in that so people aren't confusing these two things together, because a lot of the times that is what happens, is just like with metaverse, right? People hear metaverse and they think, oh, it's just Facebook. When people have to understand, take out the word metaverse, change that for internet. And just like the internet, there's different URLs. There's different concepts of worlds in the metaverse that people can implement.
Yep.
So what's the difference between crypto and fintech?
So fintech is, we have to understand, let's look at, a tree. Fintech is the whole tree, the root system, the trunk, the branches, the leaves, any flowers that it puts off. It's the whole kit and caboodle. Cryptocurrency would be a portion of that tree. It'd be maybe the leaf on the tree, or it'd be one of a branch on the tree or something. It is a portion of a system. So fintech is the overall arching system. It is the management of finance through technology applications. That is what fintech is. Cryptocurrency is a digital form of money. So we have management of money, and then we have the money. So cryptocurrency, as we go through, and like I was sharing earlier, is as we get to the regulations that come down the pipeline within the United States. Look, for anybody that doesn't understand, we will have regulations around cryptocurrency. There has been a lot of people that manage the entire financial system worldwide that have already regulated cryptocurrency in other countries. And so, the IMF, which is the International Monetary Fund, they are 100% for cryptocurrencies and have their own regulations and process that they are coming up with. So we all are interconnected on a financial system through the entire world. So for us to sit here in the United States and think that we will never see regulations, that is like, you're never going to see daylight again. That's just silly. It's going to happen. But again, they've got to go through, they got to, make sure the system is going to, I'm not going to go left field here, but they've got to just make sure they've got their I's dotted and their T's crossed before they before they release this entire system, like any system rollout behind the scenes. So the difference between the two is, fintech is the entire arching umbrella of the entire industry. That would be known as the industry. Cryptocurrency is in the industry. That is an asset within the industry. And as other people would know, a currency within the industry.
Gotcha. Okay. I love it. All right. So, companies are probably going to ask, and you guys have to understand, there's well over 21,000 different cryptocurrencies. And this is something that Tara shared with me the other day that I'm going to try to repeat back, but she's going to probably correct me a little bit when we talk about cryptocurrencies. And maybe we don't even much go into that because I don't want to confuse people. So we'll leave that alone. And look, this is
very intricate.
It is very intricate, which is why, we bring these things to the table, because we want you guys to go and do your own research and start learning about these things and start really understanding that the terminology and the language that is going to be used, you're going to need to know.
And to understand you're already hip to the game and using it.
Exactly. And this is even more importantly why, if you guys don't want to, go and research all of this stuff, as you can hear, Tara's pretty damn good at this stuff. And so within our Pivot membership, just in our $7 membership, we have a whole entire section over cryptocurrency and over fintech, where Tara breaks this down. She creates different resources for you guys to learn about and to really get access to, so you too can be able to understand these things. And if you want to join our higher level, you can even have a meeting with Tara, and she'll help you set these things up, help you, give you some advice, not financial advice, but the actual setup of what buttons to press, because that's the thing that we find the most. People want to do these things, but people just don't know how.
We will help with the systems and the strategy.
Exactly. Just like Miss Marilyn up here that has joined us. She's one of our VIP members. Let's see here. Giggles. And then, Chef Andy has been part of our Pivot membership. And they can tell you, there's an abundance amount of information that is in our Pivot membership that definitely it's up to you if you're going to utilize it and then be able to ask the questions, which is why we share with you all. Look, we are 5-8. We are in Q2. What did you do differently in your business Q2? What did you implement in your business Q1 that you said you were going to do at the end of last year when you said, oh, I'm going to take my business to the next level. Oh, I'm going to do this. What did you invest in your business? And if you're wondering why you're still in the same place, I want to help you out because you're not investing. You're doing the same thing. You're utilizing the same old keys, expecting new results. And old keys don't get you new results, and especially old perspective and not a new viewpoint, and not being able to be honest with yourself and upfront with yourself and be like, hey, I can continue to go down this pattern, or I can ask for help and open up my mind, open up my mouth, open up my heart, and more importantly, open up my hand and be like, hey, I need some help. Help a brother, help a sister out, and we can be able to do that because I can assure you, Tara and I are not just these people that talk about these things, be about these things. The other day, I was in a room and this guy was talking about websites and this, that, and the other, and I went to go look at this particular person's bio and went to go click on their website. Guys, the website wasn't even up and active, but the person was up there talking about websites. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, which is why I share with you guys, be careful of the resources that you're taking out in these streets, in Clubhouse streets, LinkedIn streets, Twitter streets, wherever you are. You better make sure you're checking the source before you take the resources. And so make sure that you guys are upping your game and being able to understand that this isn't just here, right, for us to just share with you where to happen in the next 5-10 years. No, it's happening now. Just like I've been talking about this robotics for the last year now, where I did a TikTok on robotics, on the lawyer AI robotic tool, and everybody laughed and giggled. And now here it is at your front doorstep, where robotics are 3.4 million robots are active right now. And by the end of 2027, it's going to be a $43 billion industry, where if you're doing something that you did yesterday or on Monday the same way, I'm here to tell you right now that your job, your company is looking for a way to replace you. And we were watching Terminator yesterday from 2019 at the very beginning of this. And then there was another movie, 2011, it showed the metaverse. But the Terminator, I forgot the name of it, the last one that came out, the guy was working in a factory and the guy came to work. And true enough, there was an actual robot that took over his job. And the manager said, hey, the boss needs to see you. And he goes up to sees the boss, and he's like, boss, you replaced me with the machine. The guy was like, yeah, I replaced you, and you're not as good as your sister. And that right there was just the spur of the moment. And you guys see these things in the movies, and we like laugh at it and goo but they're telling us what they're doing. They're telling us where we're going. And so Tara and I and the Hello LLC is putting up this white flag, got smoke signals. We got everything up in the air for you all that want to make that pivot, because we can help you. We can't save you. The saving part is up to you, and really be able to restructure and retool the way that you're looking at your everyday life, right? Even the way that we interact, because this AI is teaching us how we communicate more effectively. Because a lot of you probably went to ChatGPT, tried to get some information, and it spits something out completely different. It ain't ChatGPT. It's the question that you asked and how you asked it. And that is how we communicate with each other. And so this is really a teaching lesson for us all.
Absolutely. It's just the evolution that's here. And I mean, we had this conversation earlier where we feel like sometimes we repeat ourselves. Yeah. And we're trying to make sure, like today is a great example of being able to present the information in a different manner through a Q&A, a question and answer session that allows us to answer, yes, if we could have sat down and just had an open discussion about the same thing, we would have covered all these topics, but it wouldn't have been set up within a structure of Q&A. And that really is super helpful for people. Like, I know I go read the FAQ sections of of different platforms, because you learn so many things through just reading the frequently asked questions, and that this setup and how we are presenting information today, I think, is extremely helpful for people to identify that they're already hip to the game and they're already using this stuff. They need to give themselves more credit, because I think a lot of times we beat ourselves up and say, oh, I'm not in it, I'm not technology savvy, I don't have that, I just don't understand that. And if you're utilizing, again, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Stripe, Square, any of these payment processing, entities, or transfer of funds to other peer-to-peer, you're already within the game and the fintech section industry. And as things move, it'll be able to make sense, as the evolution happens, because they'll make small steps where it's not such a big shock. So yeah, absolutely. What's our next question?
So my next question, or while we have Miss Marilyn up here, Tracy, Chef Andy, you guys have any questions you want to ask, or Butterfly, you have anything that you want to ask? Miss Ange, welcome in the room.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm gonna say something real fast. I've been missing, but I have been having nothing but great things to say. Again, I can't say enough that just being under y'all leadership have took me to the next level. I am proud to say that training that I've been working on, and Tori gave me those correct way of saying it. But Tori, you helped me prompt to say it, but you didn't prompt me to say it, to take it to the different level. So with that being said, my training is approved and it's advanced training. I started another training for this other organization today. That went well. Just being familiar with the tools that we need to help us go to the next level, and how technology is taking us into another world. I know last week I went downtown Chicago, and I'm used to pulling in and somebody giving us a ticket, some attendance being out. Right, this time it was nothing. You do it yourself. You use the technology. You punch your numbers in. You go back to your phone. You pay technology. We do use AI some sort of way in our everyday life, and they're not accent. It's just, this is the way of life. So we are in the right place to learn how and what to ask as we moving into this new world of technology. I miss everybody. I will be in touch, but it's just wonderful hearing your voice. And no, I haven't went anywhere. And everybody else, y'all have a good Wednesday evening. I'm landing the plane right there.
Thank you, Miss Marilyn, for jumping up here and sharing, and and for the love. Our goal is, at the end of the day, if you are willing and ready to take your business to different heights, bring new experiences, if you're ready to do something within your business, we have that knowledge. David and I spent 22 plus years. I spent 22 plus years in corporate America. David's a year younger than me, so he spent 21 plus years in corporate America. But my point being is simply the simple fact, guys, is that we have that education. We have ran, look, I've ran corporations, I ran, large companies, and I get the need for us all to understand this, whether it's whatever portion, whether it's, even if it's not Web3 based, if you're just trying to get your systems and your strategy and your marketing, down, that is, David's got a marketing degree. He did all kinds of sales within his structure at a C-level executive, and so for him, partnered with my systems and my design experience and understanding, how the operation side of things, it really is just our goal that this is not common knowledge. And so we share this, yes, we're going into a Web3 portion, that's the next step within evolution of business. And that's why we preach it and why we share it so much. However, it comes down to the simple fact that within this side is it is, you can't drive a car if you got 4 flats, on your Cadillac. You got to get your tires aired up. So we've got to air your tires up and get your systems and your strategies and your marketing down pat, so that way you can, a lot of times, like what you're talking about, Miss Marilyn, is the packaging and how to be mindful of packaging the services that you have. So it just comes down to the simple fact at the end of the day that we're here to help you wherever you are. That's why we say we help people build their foundation and then pivot into Web3, because our goal is to set you up for the future, but we can't do that without giving you the proper foundation or helping you understand what the proper foundation really is. So thank you, Miss Marilyn. I appreciate the love so much. I greatly appreciate that. Mr. Jones?
Yeah.
Are we ready?
No. And you guys that are on our Clubhouse, you can definitely go check out Miss Marilyn's Biz in a Box, Empowering Minds LLC, where she'll share with you guys all exactly how we were able to take her business to the next level. And now with her being our Pivot VIP member, she's able to have conversations with us and be like, okay, hey, David, I want to be able to do this. As she just shared, hey, I want to be able to build this masterclass. Hey, I want to be able to do that. And there's processes and there's systems and there's things in place that she really is not that great at doing. And this is what stops a lot of entrepreneurs, is they come up with great ideas, but now they don't have the system. They don't have the structure. They don't know where to start. They don't know how to be able to actually promote it. They don't know how to be able to brand it out to everyone and get more clients. And so they just don't do it. And give me an emoji if that's you as well. And so this is exactly where we're able to step into the place and be able to help you build out that structure, especially from the foundation and implementing this to the future. So now she's now going to be able to say, hey, not only can you join, my masterclass through this old school crusty dusty Zoom, but if you want to, I also have this in my metaverse storefront or in my metaverse mall that you guys can join and watch and interact this, as we do with our masterclasses that we're about to be launching here in a little bit, where Zooms are outdated. And this is why I did a live earlier, and I said, if somebody asks you to join on Zoom, you need to be like, what? You're not in metaverse yet? You're still using that old crusty dusty Zoom where I got to put makeup on and put my camera on and put this code in and do all that? Boy, bye. And so this is really where we're going to be going. And we just thank you, Miss Marilyn, for, giving us the keys to your business. And this even more so being where we share with people, AI and metaverse does not have an age limit on it. And a lot of the times that's what we do as entrepreneurs, is we say, oh, that's for the youngsters. And we don't invest and we don't pivot ourselves, understanding that the average age, listen to me loud and clear, because this goes over a lot of people's heads. If you want to have a business for the next 10, 15 years, then I'm here to share with you right now, the average age of the world, and GTS this, Google this shit. The average age of the world is 30 years old, 30.5 to be exact. And so if you want to stay ahead of the curve, then this is where you have to start implementing these things into place. And Butterfly brought up something that was absolutely amazing yesterday. She said a lot of the times we look at these investments as, oh, how am I going to get instant gratification from being able to have this Hello Plaza storefront and being able to showcase this? Well, this is what's wrong with today's society, is that we want this instant results. And we forget, as a business, you have to build, right? Amazon just didn't become Amazon overnight. He put these foundations, he put these segmentations in place for him to be able to scale his business and to be able to connect with his target audience. And this is exactly where we share with you all, is that you can go on a global scale without all this overhead and without all this troublesome that we used to have. And if you're just using LinkedIn for your business, you're just using Instagram for your business, you're just using one or two social media outlets that have been around, listen to me well, have been around since 2003, then it's about to be changed. We're obsoleting from this traditional social media rooms that we're in now, that we're hoping and praying that we can get business on. And the average age is 30 years old. So we have to go back, just like we told our parents, hey, you got to get out of this sending letters. Hey, you got to get out of this fax machine, and you got to start using this email. We're there now, where you have to be able to adapt and adjust as well.
Absolutely. And I think, another important question to answer, as you were sharing that, is how is fintech related to metaverse? Like,
Yeah.
what is the relationship there? Because you guys hear us speak about Web3, you hear us speak about metaverse, you hear us speak about AI, you hear us speak about fintech, you hear about all of these, different terms that we use. And so, first of all, let me just say, Web3 is the whole industry as a whole. That encompasses metaverse, that encompasses fintech, that encompasses cryptocurrency, blockchain, AI, robots that are going to be coming down, that are already here, showing up in our Amazon store. There's so many different keywords that fall underneath Web3. And so today we're talking about the fintech side of it, but you guys just heard Mr. Jones share within the metaverse. And so I would love to correlate those and see how those relate to each other, so that way you guys understand the correlation between that. So fintech is going to, again, for anybody who's just joined, is the financial technology portion. That's what fintech actually stands for. It will be able to, where companies like Square, Stripe, PayPal will be able to accept blockchain cryptocurrencies. So whether it comes down the pipeline that, through regulations, by the way, David shared earlier, there's 21,000 cryptocurrencies. You have to understand that after regulation happens, many of those cryptocurrencies will no longer meet regulations, because regulations are going to it has to provide a utility, or has to have some sort of format structure that it has to meet in order to make sure that it's, meets the regulation, and then thus is insured and trusted and covered. And so when that happens, that's when, let's just say XYZ coin is the coin of choice, that where our US dollar, our US coins, everything is tied to it, to where now if I send, this to David, he'll receive it within US dollars or whatever currency that I choose, Mexican pesos, whatever it is. I only share Mexican pesos because we currently reside in Mexico, as we are digital nomads. And so the really cool portion about this, guys, though, is that when you'll go into your Web3 space and purchase services, you'll have the option, as I shared earlier. I kind of already answered this question in an earlier portion of this, but like to tie it kind of back together here, is that you'll be able to pay for those services through cryptocurrency, through a whatever token that like the Hello LLC token, and that will be equivalent to $1 US or whatever it is. That will be like coming up to the lemonade stand and having, whether you have if they accept, credit card, because nowadays, people can, run Stripe and Square right off their phone. So they can take your debit card, they can take cash, they can take coin. It's being able to come up with different ways to pay within the metaverse. So that is going to be the payment structure that it will be tied to the metaverse. The metaverse will be the space. It'll be where the meeting or the concert or the meal or the hanging out happens, the storefront, the mall, whatever. And then the cryptocurrency, the blockchain, that which is a part of the fintech industry, will all play into the portion of that's the payment structure. So I hope that kind of answers the question within how that ties fintech and metaverse and how they're related.
Yeah. I appreciate that, love.
Yeah.
So, how can, or let's say this, how can fintech help, business owners with payroll?
Well, it's going to be, that's a really good question. So think about it right now, that when we are getting paid, we might be on a weekly basis. We might be on every 2 weeks. We might be on a bi-monthly. We might be on a monthly basis. Whatever your pay schedule is now within, say you have a traditional job. And the way that it will be able to revolutionize this is that most people get hired on as either salary or hourly. I always have to slow down to say that because I'll get the L's all little E's in there. So anyways, you either have a salary or you are paid hourly. And so how this will be able to revolutionize is that you will be paid, whether you do receive a salary or an hourly wage, you will be paid hourly, literally. So right now you're paid weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever that pay schedule is. But in the future, it is going to be where you complete an 8-day, 8-hour day, and you're an hourly employee. The moment you clock in and the time you clock out, every hour that you complete that you have, say you clocked out for lunch, those 4 hours, you're gonna receive payment then. Think about how that will revolutionize the world. Like, I'll break it down for you. Say you're a college kid and you're putting yourself through school. You don't have a lot of family support. You have a job, and you need to buy books or something, and you just worked, you're $100 short, and you know that just working one half of a day at, whatever you're doing, you're going to get paid $100 or $125. And instead of waiting till next week's check, that you get, or 2 weeks from now, whenever their pay schedule is, it will be set up to where it'll be paying you hourly. So when you clock out at lunchtime, you just completed 4 hours, you're going to receive $125 of that, with already taxes and everything else taken out, because that'll be instant. That right there, guys, is just a precursor of now that student doesn't have to wait till in the following week or 2 weeks to go buy their books and be behind, or whatever the case might be. It'll allow people in the immediate time right now. So it will revolutionize the fact that, a lot of, I think I read over 90% of families right now within the United States are feeling the squeeze of inflation and things like that. Being paid instantaneously, minus, the taxes and everything that's, already captured, you have the ability to have more control over your finances. So that way, if you are in, like, I need a new tire because I got a flat tire, or whatever the case might be, your funding is available to you in instant manner instead of days, it changes the ballgame.
Yeah, I love it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we want to thank you guys all for joining us today. If you guys have any other questions on FinTech, definitely DM us, ask us any questions, join our Pivot membership, learn about our Biz in a Box, learn about our Hello AI MotionWorks, especially those of you that do not like going live, don't like getting dressed up, don't like being behind the camera. Utilize AI to your fullest, where you guys can go and check out some of our actual AI videos that we've done that's in Chef Andy's Biz in a Box. We've just done Miss Marilyn's Biz in a Box, where she has her AI video in there, and it really takes this to the next level, to where you don't have to be trying to figure out what to say, how to say. We can let AI do the work, and you get to sit back and relax and allow technology to be the janitor, and you're not the janitor, and you get to be the president, even though you get to have a nice avatar and things of that sort. So learn more about the Hello LLC, learn how we can help you guys out. More than anything, we want you to be grateful, right? You don't have to do business whatsoever, but what we do want you to do is upgrade your mind, upgrade your actual body, upgrade your whole entire livelihood, your energy, your frequency, and your vibration, and be grateful for what you have in life. I shared this morning on my live that, being grateful is the greatest reception for receiving things. And a lot of the times we forget that there's somebody that didn't wake up this morning, somebody that didn't wake up with their significant other, somebody lost an arm, lost a leg, lost whatever, and you have everything you need to accomplish everything you need. It's just up to you if you're going to have the willpower, not needing the skill, but the willpower to keep it pushing and to keep it moving and to never give up. Keep climbing the mountain, never give up, never retreat, make it to the top. And to get to the top, we can do that together. And so with that being said, you guys know the drill: love,
kindness,
integrity,
but most importantly,
commitment,
and consistency.
And until next time, toodles.
Toodles.
We'll see you guys later.
Thanks for being here.